Runewords are finally coming to Diablo 4, and you can create your very own spells. And not only your very own spells, you can also use spells from other classes. Vortex from the Spiritborn, Decrepify from the Necro, Petrify, Countering Concealment, and Enhance Warcry, for example. How do they work? You will have an activation rune that generates offering. For example, it says travel 5 meters. And then to this activation rune, the Rune of Ritual, you will link a Rune of Invocation, which then requires 500 offering and replaces your next evade with a Sorcerer's Teleport, blinking further, dealing damage, and becoming unstoppable. Ergo, I would now have to move 10 times 5 meters to generate 500 offering, and then simply my evade is a teleport. And these two runes have to be socketed together in an item. That would be your helmet, who now has 2 sockets, your chest, pants, or your weapon. Keep in mind, you can only have 2 rune words active. That leaves you still 4 socket slots left for other stuff. Now, moving 5 meters doesn't fit for every class though, for the Necromancer, for example, who's not really moving a lot. But there are other activators. For example, the Yule. Gain 50 offering, cast a skill with a cooldown. If you're using a class that's resetting cooldowns extremely quick, my Druid for example, I could spam a cooldown skill every 1 second to get always 50 offering, which might make it way faster to create these 500 offering than simply walking 5 meters 10 times. Or cast the same non-channeled skill 3 times in a row. I'm looking at you, Rose. 25 offering for spamming Barrage, often with insane attack speed, 0 energy being lost, inner sight kind of playstyle. Yep, that could create a lot of offering as well. And the offering that is created is always for the linked rune. But there's one that will be used the most, and that is called the Pock rune. Gain 2 offering, spend 5% of your maximum resource. You simply just have to spam away your resource, your mana, your essence, your whatever. And you're actually creating offering like this. Look at the new Blood Surge build, which goes vrt, 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 vrt. I mean, I'm literally using up 400 essence per second at least. That will create tons of offering. But what can you all do with this? Because that is the more interesting question. If you create 800 offering, which is a lot, you actually get the Barbarian's Challenging Shout, reducing your damage taken. And Challenging Shout does make you unstoppable, if I'm not mistaken. Seems intriguing, but not too good. But you could also get the Enhanced Warcry, which increases your movement speed and damage dealt, and gives you Berserking as well. Yes, you can actually get the Barbarian Berserking. But not only that, your next skill will be a guaranteed critical strike and overpower. What? So I just have to create 700 offering right now for a free crit and overpower. Well, that's simple, right? With my Blood Surge build, which is incredible and does only overpower damage, if I now burst through my resource like crazy with infinite essence, I will consistently just get another crit overpower every now and then for free. Alternative, you can also create Barrier with the Druid's Earthen Bulwark, but you need 800 offering, and 800 offering can be hard to create. I mean, the most offering you can get is by drinking a healing potion, which kind of works with Rogue on the alchemical advantage where you actually are drinking potions to increase your damage. Otherwise, you could spam your ultimate skills if there's a world where you reduce your ultimate skills to very low cooldown. Any class that could do that, I had a Rogue build that could actually spam the Death Trap for then 150 offering. And the final one to create a lot of offering is actually evoking power from another class. Gain 150 offering. And this is the first infinite loop you can create. Because right now this is a trigger, right? That can trigger an ability. I would gain 150 offering if I evoke the power from another class. Interesting thing is, you can cast Decrepify from the Necromancer for 100 offering. So I can cast Decrepify by essentially using 2 cooldown skills, right? That's 100 offering. And then I would instantly create another 150 offering because I just evoked Decrepify. So 2 rune words working with each other. And if I can then spam cooldown skills, I could continuously spam Decrepify to overcreate this 150 offering that we're then getting a very cool effect running. As we said, the Druid's Barrier or Petrify. Yes, 500 offering, cooldown 5 seconds. So if you do this every 5 seconds, that's fire. Evoke the Druid's Petrify, stunning enemies, increasing your critical strike damage against them. And we could just continuously get this roll in with this combination of offering with another skill. And whew, holy hell. I mean, Runewords are getting quite interesting. And very funny for our overpower builds. Gain 20% max life for 4 seconds. If you somehow manage to continuously do this, and the question rather would be, can this stack? Can I create 20% max life and 20%, you know? But if I could do this, I would just do so much more damage. I mean, I'm at 150,000 life with my build. Then I get another 20% more life. Obviously not 150,000 because stat squishing. Just more overpower damage again. The cool thing about runes, they're tradable. You have one your friend wants, your friend has one you want. Fantastic. Runes stack. So in your inventory, you get a new tab for gems, runes, and so on. Socketable inventory tab. And there is everything in, and it stacks. A maximum of 2 rune words can be equipped. We talked about it. The same rune cannot be equipped twice. So you cannot use the same activator twice. Sadly, that would be actually really cool. And then there's rune crafting. So I can just craft a random legendary rune by throwing in 3 times the same rune. So if I have 14 met runes or 15 tal sea tons, I can actually turn them into others. Therefore, finding more is always better because you can then roll for new runes, potentially trade them away, sell them to others. And runes can also be used to craft mythics at the jeweler. Each one requires 1 resplendent spark, 10 legendary runes of a specific name, and 10 magic runes of a specific name to craft. There's one caveat to this whole rune system though, and probably a reason why a lot of people might be mad. And that's they're only available for Vessel of Hatred people. Now I'm going to say that's their sales argument on top of everything, that if you really want the most out of the expansion, the most out of Diablo, you do have to get Vessel of Hatred. I'm not saying you need these runes, let's be fair. But alone these few combinations I just told you are gonna make everything more powerful. I mean, the rune that uses resource to create offering can essentially be used by every single build to create any bonus effect you want. And if that bonus effect is only 20% more health, to Crapify, or your next non-basic skill cast spends all of your primary resource to deal up to 100% increased damage. Why not, right? Reduce your active ultimate cooldown by 4 seconds for 200 offering. Remember what we said about spamming cooldowns to produce 50 offering, to then cast the other evoke class skill, to then reduce your ultimate skill cooldown, potentially making it possible that your ultimate skill has very low cooldown. And then if we're actually using the cooldown of your ultimate skill, that would then again create offering. Which brings us also back to the, you remember the cast an ultimate to create offering? So we can actually make a Bloodwave build where we just spam our Bloodwave and consistently create offerings by spamming our Bloodwave. So the build that's already good and that's already trying to get as many overpowers as possible just gets even more Bloodwave overpower. Just like that, every build with this, it's like Vampiric Powers a little bit from Season 2. Every build simply gets stronger. And even if you do a very inefficient combination, so let's say you take your minions and companions, kill an enemy or dies, gain 10 offering. Okay, so versus a boss fight, useless, 10 offering. But even if you take this very inefficient one just to trigger more critical strike chance, even that is going to make your build slightly better. Any crazy combinations that already popped in your eyes, put it in the comments below. I'll be creating a Google document where we go over some of the best combinations, where it's like, this is easy to create the offering with that class perspective, and then that skill is really easy to put off, plus the combination of invoking other classes skills. But everything will have to be tested in the real world. If you want to know now how the new progression will work in Vessel of the Hatred, there's another video. Enjoy. Have a fantastic good day. Looking forward to this.